I'm curious if you have a family story like I do. It could be with your chosen family or your real family or close friends. A funny story that you can text one or two words to the people in your group and everybody knows exactly what you're talking about. One of our family stories is about my father and how he sometimes would lose something. He couldn't find it, and he would search and search and search. Sometimes this would just go on for a day, sometimes it would go over several days. Some of the jokes that we had when we watched our father search for that receipt or that favorite pen or sometimes his slippers, where we would find him looking in the oddest places. One day, my sister walked in on him opening the china cabinet, pulling out the silver chest and looking in it to see if his beloved slipper might just have gotten put in there. Another time we walked into the kitchen and my father had all of the trash strewn across the floor in the kitchen, searching for that one receipt that he really needed to find and turn in to be reimbursed. So sometimes we'll write to each other, have you checked the silver chest? Or, is it one of those days where you just want to pour all the trash out and look around? Those moments that we feel lost, where something we have lost is just bothering us. It gets under our skin. It's funny to have decided to preach on this just this week because several times this week I have lost things and had that feeling in my body of unsettledness, confusion, panic, anger, sometimes even shame. I'm curious, how do you feel when you've lost something? Where do you feel it in your body? Sometimes we can feel trapped by this feeling, so much so that we lose ourselves in the lostness. I've been thinking this week about two stories that were so important to me as a child about losing things. Two parables that are in the Greek Testament and the Gospel of Luke, one, the lost coin, and one, the lost sheep. The lost coin is a story of a woman who had 10 coins and she lost one of them, and she searched and searched and cleaned and searched and searched until she found that lost coin. And then she gathered her friends together to celebrate. The other one is about a shepherd who had 100 sheep and then one went missing. And he left the 99 to go searching for that one sheep that was missing. And then he called all of his friends together to celebrate in the finding of that lost sheep. A communal celebration. I think that these parables are to remind us that we're not alone in this experience of feeling lost, of desperately searching, of wondering if we're ever going to find it. And they use these stories as a model for how much their God loved them and was going to come for them and then celebrate. I'm curious, beyond just losing things, if you have ever felt lost yourself. I've been reflecting on that feeling of lostness in this time reflecting back to a time in my life where my baby was little, where I was just starting out in a congregation in the North Shore. I thought I knew everything and was going to be able to run circles around ministry and create new ways of being together. And I'm sure I did some of that. But honestly, I myself was not in a healthy relationship. I myself did not even know what I believed anymore. And it was so hard to stand up in front of a group of people in that lost space. I felt so alone. I didn't even really know how to articulate it, and I felt like a wanderer. Miraculously, eventually, I wandered my way to working at the Unitarian Universalist Urban Ministry in Roxbury, and then wandered my way into Unitarian Universalist churches, into Sanctuary Boston. And I found other people that were fine with the questions, with my sense of lostness, with my doubts, my confusion about how to make my way forward as a minister who had experienced significant abuse and still felt led to serve. Sometimes, when we are lost or have lost something, we feel so alone. You may be feeling that right now, as the unraveling of democracy and the safety net of services, supports, even science, are being ripped away from us. But what I've been reflecting on this week is something different than the stories I told you of the parables and of my own life of feeling lost and being alone. I think the invitation for us is to welcome community in while we are lost, while we are angry, while we are a mess, while things feel fallen apart, while we do not know what we believe, while we are not sure of how to make it through the next day. Unlike the parables, unlike the story of my father searching all by himself, the opportunity for us now, today, in this lostness, is to not just wait for the celebration, not just wait for everything to get figured out, but to get down on our hands and knees in the lostness of our reality, of our understanding, and know that we are not alone. It's almost like when we lose ourselves and our sense of connection to others, something else gets lost. And in that lostness, the opportunity is to find our way back to one another. Not because we have it all figured out, not because it's fixed, not because even we have something to celebrate, but because in a very real way, we need one another. In January of this year, I was feeling that lostness again. I now serve in a Unitarian Universalist congregation south of the city. I've never seen a community that rose up for a particular presidential candidate that I did not favor. It was surprising to me to be in Massachusetts and to feel so very lost, so very alone, though not so much in my congregation. But in that time, and as I saw the rise of white Christian nationalism and all the hatred that was being directed at beloveds whom I care for, who I will go to the mat for, I found solace in a book written by Omar El-Khed, an Egyptian Canadian journalist and author. The title welcomed me in. One day, everyone will have been against this. His book shares an intimate and vulnerable story of his own experience of being a journalist and living in the Middle East and recognizing what was happening in Gaza had been a genocide for so many years. One of the quotes that stuck out for me and continues to resonate as I wrestle with the lostness I feel at this time. In fact, there is no terrible thing happening coming for you in some distant future, but know that a terrible thing is happening to you now. You are being asked to kill off a part of you that would otherwise scream in opposition to injustice. When I read Al-Khad's words, or more specifically, when I listened to him read them, it felt like a wake-up call to me. The beliefs I still held about the salvageable goodness of this American empire underneath its desire for ultimate domination could hold no more. But I felt still lost. How could I let the people in my congregation into this feeling? I felt as though I was supposed to have all of the answers and make people just feel good. But I had to lose this perspective and to find my way to a new path of accepting my lost beliefs, my ideas about the country and about our world, and what spiritual community is for, even for the leaders. Letting people into this lostness as a minister, something I wasn't able to do 20 plus years ago, has been the greatest life gift and opportunity to bring community together in a space where I never imagined it could be. I invite you to imagine with me what it would be like for you to bring people together in the lostness, to know and recognize that when you show up for justice, it can feel like a small drop. And in fact, you are joining a large stream that leads to a broad river that pours out into an ocean of connection, of rhythm, of the opportunity to see the crash of the waves and recognize you are not alone. We will come and swim with you right there. Amen, and blessed be. May you go from this time with the full knowledge you are never lost alone. You do not even need to search alone. May we remember to scream and cry, rage and sing together. And may our harmonies help us in imagining a shared future that embraces us, emboldens our quest for justice, and keep inviting everybody in. So may it be.